Yeah, I'm at 26 Perrine or Perrine, something like that, Street in Dayton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. Now, camera is pretty far back. You can see this is going to be our access point. We're looking for any structural issues mainly, but anything that I think is concerning to the buyer, we'll make a note of. I had to use my little camera just to get it down the steps here. But we're hoping we can get this one out all the way. But you can see it's already pitched backwards. When I opened the lid, the water dumped out onto the floor. But apparently, there's already been an indication where during the whole house inspection, the line was it was run and there was water coming out next to through the foundation next to where this is, and so. They may need to correct the pitch on this just because down on the side of it, this is actually meaning like the cap for the clean out is lower than where it goes to the wall, so it's kind of pitched a little backwards, and that's why that water is sitting up against it. So, and as we go through the wall here, it's like we have cast iron, and it is all messed up. We got a blockage, it looks like. Bunch of paper. Don't know where that's coming from. We'll see how far out we can go here. This is clay. And so there's a short piece of cast iron, I guess, where it goes through the wall, and then it goes into clay. And so we're going to try to push all the way out and check the remainder of this line. I have some water sitting here. And we'll see how far out we can get. And that doesn't seem very... That's not a big issue there. It does look like it's going... So the water is moving down the line. So this is a good sign. So far the line looks good. As far as once we got past that cast iron looked like it was pretty rough shape, probably eaten through. So we'll go all the way out. I believe that looks like a tunnel right there. This actually looks pretty good for clay. I would like to be able to run some water through here, but it looks like if I do, it's going to end up coming back out onto the floor because this line is pitched the wrong direction where the clean out is. Here's a cave cricket. There we are all the way to the main. So the line is open all the way to the main, but obviously we're getting something leaching out. I'm going to try to see if I can run my camera down a little bit into the main and see if we can make sure that the camera lens is nice and clean. So it didn't look bad. I'd like to be able to find a way to run this. See if I can run some water, but if I do, it's just going to be running right back out. Let's see if I can find a different, there's really no other way to run it. There's nothing down here in the basement to run. But due to the configuration, I can't run any water. Now I do think that that paper is having a lot to do with it too as we pull back. If we can get some go. I want to be able to make sure that the water is escaping properly. So we'll see what we can do once we get back further. Because structurally the clay looks good. I think that probably the cast iron is probably like rusted through. Because this all looks really good. Now of course, not being able to run water. Now see, this is what, see all this stuff here. There's a little bit of debris, but that's not much water. That's very, very minimal amount of belly. Like it's not, really, I don't see anything that's real concerning in that spot. If I can push right on past it. You want to be able to see in this area, but that's just a little bit of a low spot. I mean, it's really not. So here we are coming back into the building, and this is where you have a and here we are. So this does look all messed up and clogged. It looks like it's collapsed on the left side. You can see that line is supposed to be wide open, and it's like crushed and probably rusted through. And so that's where we're getting this right in through here. You have paper. So we're trying to move this stuff out of the way so we can see a little better, because I mean, most of the line, once you get out into the clay, it actually looks pretty good. I'm going to push on out and see if we can get you that water again and rinse that camera off. There we go. So we'll pull back through there. Yeah, I mean, there's something that's coming from further back. That line there is actually, it's Ying in. Right here where you see all this buildup, there's stuff getting in. It's right there at that connection. You can see the top where it looks like something has fallen in. Yeah, this is all damaged in through here. So I'm going to pause the video, and I will go ahead and get a locate. And then we'll close it up, and I'll see if I can run some water to see if I can witness anything. But like I said before, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do because of how this is pitched backwards, and so the water may just run right back out of the pipe when it's supposed to be going downstream. So again, we'll pause the video, locate this area, and then we'll be back to continue. Yep, so it's just outside the wall. It's 4'5" on the outside. I marked it with green paint and put the depth on it. But Another issue is I ran a little bit of water in the kitchen sink, and just to witness it, and it doesn't even make it to here. The water is just resting back up against the clean out. But I mean, you can see obviously how this line is all busted up. There's only a few feet of cast iron, and you can see when we pull back just how much it has dropped and just how full of junk it is. Looks like a big hole in the top. But another issue here is the fact that we can't, I wish there was a higher access point, and then I could possibly go through that and let it run, but this all looks like it's probably rusted out. And so from, like, I mean, this is at about, so the main problem is right here at the transition, so it's just 9 foot on the video. And so you can see just how bad a shape the top of that pipe is, and just how close it is to the bottom of the pipe. And so you have about 2 feet, you know, 6.5 feet, so about 2.5 feet of pipe. The way that this is reading footage, I've had to put my reel pretty far away from the clean out, a few feet, so it's not exact, because the opening to the clean out, so it's like 6.5 feet until 9 feet, and the opening of the clean out is right here. And so it's basically right at the wall, right where you can actually see the transition to from the plastic to the cast iron, which is right here. And then in about 2 or 3 feet. Now I don't know if there's a way you could insert something into here, but I don't think that would work. It probably is going to have to be dug up and replaced. It's cast iron. It's not going to do anything but get worse. It's just deteriorated. And the only piece of cast iron is probably originally cast iron in here. And so another issue is the fact that, which I'm going to do that, I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to pull out, and then I'll kind of show also, because the water comes in through this Y right here, and then this part's just a clean out, but all the water is running back towards this clean out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the line up. I'm going to pause the video and close the line up, and then we're going to run a bunch of water and show how it is leaching out. Just to kind of show how it is leaching out through the wall. But really, the only thing I found, the clay, once you get past that 9-10 foot mark, once it turns to clay, the clay looks like it's actually in pretty good shape. I didn't see anything concerning. Of course, again, we can't run water the way we'd like to, just because of the situation here. But because it's all pitched the wrong way, so with the clean out open, under normal circumstances, you could open up that clean out the way it was set up and let water run past it, and none of it would come out. But the line is dropped, and so the clean out is lower than the side that's supposed to go downstream. So that's a little bit of an issue too. Probably should be corrected. Is probably the weight of the vertical part of the line that's pushing down on the back side of that clean out, causing it to be lower. So that is the partial issue. But yeah, the only thing really is the first few feet, from the wall in about 2.5-3 feet, where it turns into the clay. That looks like that's where the issue is. The cast iron looks like it's rotted away, collapsing. It does have an open area, but also the way the line is pitched is working against the flow of the line also. So again, we're going to pause the video. I'm going to run some water for a while, and then we'll video that. Alright, so we have been able to get some of the water to come out through the wall, and so we'll just go ahead and show that, see if we can get up close to it with the camera and be able to see what we're talking about here. So as you can see, now we've got this all closed up. You can hear the water kind of sitting in there because this is pitched. Just from the, I'm sure it's because of this vertical here. This extra weight is kind of pushed down on this fitting, and that's why like the cap is actually lower than the wall, than where it goes through the wall, which is why there's at least a little bit of water sitting up against that cap, probably about a quarter of the pipe diameter. But if you look, see if you can get this. You can see right. It's kind of hard to see on here, but there is water actually coming through the wall right here. Wish I could actually show the flow of it, but it's hard to catch it on this camera. But as the water runs, there is water coming right through that spot, and you can see where the line is. It's right here to the left, and the water is running down right through that spot, and that is where the I'm sure that's where that cast iron is rotted out, just on the other side of the wall, or in the wall probably, because that wall's, I'm sure that wall's at least a foot thick, and so you're talking about 2 to 2.5 feet of pipe there. But that wall, I wish I could really get a good one, because it is flowing down the wall right here, and it's coming out through there. It's leaching out into the wall because of the hole in the cast iron and how beat up that 2-foot piece of cast iron is, and then it's leaching down through the wall and coming out right here. So, basically, the rest of the line is great once you get past on the video. It was about 9 feet. So on the video, the line was just about 9 feet, I think, was the end of it, and the beginning of it was about 6.5 feet. So nothing. So really it was only about 2 feet of pipe, and it's like basically the 2 feet that are, in and barely coming out of the wall. So the section of cast iron that goes through the wall is deteriorated and is allowing water through it and leaching out into the wall. And so once you run the water for 5 to 10 minutes, it starts leaching out of the line, and it's getting out into the wall, but it takes a few minutes for it to leach all the way through the wall and start coming out into the inside the basement. So I'm going to recommend that part be replaced, or at least refer this to a licensed plumber for repair and further evaluation. But yeah, the good news is the rest of the line looks pretty good. The clay's in pretty good shape. We were unable to run water with it open with the camera inside because of the layout of the pipe being as it is. But most of the clay, once you get out of the cast iron, look like it's in pretty good shape. It's just that cast iron's deteriorated. So get that replaced, and the line should be in good shape. But that's going to end the inspection for 26 Perrine Street in Dayton, Ohio.